Now, just quickly before we start with the show, a lot of people have already seen on social media, on Twitter, at talkSPORT, a wind-up which myself and the excellent impressionist Darren Farley did on you, where you thought you were having a chat with Steven Gerrard. And in fact, it wasn't Steven Gerrard, who's been incredibly rude to you. Obviously, it wasn't Gerrard, it was Darren Farley. And that's up now and running on the Twitter handle at talkSPORT. And you got well and truly done.
I mean, it was beautifully done. That's all I can say. Beautifully done.
When did you think something was up? When I said to him, "Big
do you know what?
Moonhead."
It was when he's mentioned something about the size of my head, and it made me laugh. I'm thinking, right, I thought he listens to the show a lot, and he clearly.
But you can't say that's Goldstein there, can you?
No. But I could hear. That's you'll say it at some stage tonight.
Moonface.
There you go. There you go. I mean, what 2 minutes in?
Yeah, it's that.
These things happen.
It was good. Yeah. We got you. Go see that. It's at talkSPORT. Now we've got loads coming up in tonight's show. Which way round should we start? Should we start with Spurs or Scotland? Let's start with the biggie, Scotland, England. By the way, live on talkSPORT tomorrow and talkSPORT 2. How about this? So on talkSPORT, you get the English angle, so English commentary, and on talkSPORT 2 at the same time, it kicks off at 8 p.m. You got the Scottish angle. Yeah. With Paul Dickoff. That's it. I haven't finished it. And then at 10 p.m. on talkSPORT 2, it's the phone-in with me and Jay. Right? It's probably a part you don't want to talk over, so people know where to find us. The number's the same, by the way, so it makes no difference to you. Because I think a lot of people, after the game, will just dial in anyway. They don't necessarily have to have the radio on.
You don't have to have the radio on, Stinks, to talk to us. No, not at all.
So, and then the second hour and third hour, we're back in here. Literally, I mean, you don't know, but we have to go from the studios to my left in there, and then I don't know why we can't, but anyway. We were on air tomorrow night taking your calls from Ted. The question I'm starting with, Jay, is what do we do? Do we do anything different as England? The way we set up, the formation, the players. Start with the players first. So last time we went with Pickford in goal, a back four of Walker, Stones, Mings and Trippier. Yeah. The midfield three of Phillips, Rice and Mount, and then Sterling, Kane and Foden. Do you change that team against Scotland? I think I'd be very tempted to change very little. Right. I don't. I thought we'd done very well, actually. I don't think we were brilliant, but I thought we'd done enough to win the game. I thought we started really well. There were parts of that game, perhaps Croatia grew into it. You'd expect you can't dominate a game for 90 minutes, but I would be surprised if he changes too much. The only area that I feel he may want to go with a little bit of balance is Trippier, but he trusts Trippier. I thought Mings was excellent. Yeah. So I think you can make a case for saying keep it as is. Now, the Harry Maguire situation is interesting because I believe he said today, Gareth, that he will play a part in the game tomorrow. I don't know how we can, make that assumption because you don't know how the game's going to go unless there's an injury. I don't think he'll be changing, unless, of course, England are cruising, but even then, it's a bit of a risk to change centre-halves. Let me ask you, we'll go to centre-halves in a moment. Let me ask you mentioned Trippier, right? Is that England's best team out? Because I don't think it is. I think playing a right-back and left-back is still wrong. And you've got Shaw and you've got Chilwell, right? Now, I know we won, and I know it's very difficult to pick holes. I'm not going to pick holes. But all I'll say is I look at that England team that beat Croatia, and I think, actually, we could be a better England team than that. And I think if you play a left-sided left-back against Scotland, we'll be stronger. We'll be better. Not necessarily defensively, because I get why Trippier's in, but certainly offensively we will. Going forward we will. I hear that argument, and I prefer left-footed players, certainly at wing-back or full-back, to have that bit of balance. I said to you the other night after the game, I saw Azpilicueta play many times at left-back, done a brilliant job. Left wing back, brilliant job. But there's always those times where we get out and there's a chance to put the ball in, and because he's not his strongest suit, his left foot, he will then cut back on his right foot. And once you do that, the run's already been made. Kane would have made a run, then he's got to come back out and go back in again. But that's just one part of it. Other than that, I've seen that Azpilicueta can play there. Trippier can play defensively. Yeah. They understand the role. Trippier won the La Liga this season. He's worked under Simeone, and Simeone is a brilliant defensive coach. So clearly Gareth has seen him as a defender. He feels as though that doesn't change the way we defend as a unit, and I think that's a fair argument. If he goes to a 3 at the back, I think then that will be harder for Trippier to play on that position. I agree with you. He may then. What you mean Trippier, as a wing back? Yes, because he might play as a 3 on the right. Yeah, because then your job
is as much defending as it, in fact, depends where you are on the pitch, but more often than not, when England in possession and you've got wing-backs, you want them to be high and wide to give you width. That's where the width comes from, and that's where those balls should come from wide areas. Then naturally, you're looking for delivery. You're looking for players, Reece James, Kyle Walker, even Trippier, who can play out on that right-hand side. Naturally, that ball can come across for him. So that might be an area that, if we go to a 3, I don't think he will, though. I think he'll keep it as is. But Scotland play with a 3, so he might, and I don't know why he would do this, but he might want to match them up.
Okay. How do you think Scotland will line up then? What differences will they?
Well, clearly Tierney will play left of a 3 at the centre half. They play 3 at the back. Robertson's out on the left wing back. I expect McTominay and McGinn to start. You might see Billy Gilmour. I expect Che Adams to start.
I'm surprised he didn't start, actually, for Scotland.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't come on. Yeah. Che Adams was the big one for me. Why he didn't go in with Dykes. And I saw the friendly before the game, before the tournament started. They won 1-0. Can't quite remember who they played, but Che Adams scored. And Dykes missed a few. And he missed a few the other night as well. But when
Adams came on, I think he came on at half time, didn't he?
Yeah.
They looked, they looked totally different in the second half.
Yeah, they did. And they were chasing the game as well. So they had to be different. They had to be on the front foot. They had to offer more. Look, they had chances, Scotland. They had chances. They had enough chances to get something out of that game. And of course, the first goal, they're so important, at most levels. But at this level here now, I think there's every single team that scored the first goal so far, other than one match. Other than 2 matches now, they've gone on to win the game.
That's
we saw Denmark today, who were excellent first half. So taking the lead means so much. So, but they had their chances, Scotland.
Okay. England and Scotland fans, what would you do with your starting lineup for tomorrow night's game? Of course, it's live on talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2 from 8 p.m. We take calls on the back of it from 10. 08717223344. We'll go to the phone lines in a moment.
The Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday night from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.